Hi, it's Monty, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Garmin Varia radar system. I say review, but it's more a public service broadcast, perhaps crossed with what you might think is an advert. I bloody love this thing. I think you should buy one. You should go right now. There's a link in the description. But first, if you're new round here, this is Sportive Cyclist, the mammal channel. I make videos about road cycling from the perspective of a mammal, a not particularly fit mammal, but one that loves road cycling. If that sounds like you have a persuasion for the Lycra life, then please do hit the subscribe button and the like button right now, okay? Into the review. Now, before you do accuse me of taking money from Garmin for making this video, you should be aware that I bought this Garmin Varia with my own money back in Check's Wiggle account November last year, so I've been using it for approximately 4 months. And now I will not knowingly ride without it. It's literally my favourite piece of bike kit that I've bought in the last 5 years. Maybe ever. But wait, despite being the best piece of bike tech, it's probably not the first piece of bike tech that you should buy. That would be a bike computer, brackets, that works with the Garmin Varia. Then buy yourself a Garmin Varia. By the way, if you want to know if and how the Varia integrates with other non-Garmin bike computers, such as the Wahoo ELEMNT BOLT and the Bryton Rider 750, then stick around till later in this video and I will tell you. But Mont, what is Varia and why so evangelical? Let's get into the detail. The Garmin Varia is basically a radar system that looks behind you, science, and lets you know when a car is coming, or any vehicle really. Actually, the Varia range has expanded into smart bike lights as well, but most people think of it as the radar. And crazy as it sounds again, science! 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 It actually works. The Varia will connect with your compatible bike computer via ANT+, and when it detects a vehicle behind you, the bike computer will alert you to that vehicle's presence and then track that vehicle on the display as it approaches from behind. Once the car is passed, the bike computer will sound and or visually display the all clear. If there's more than one vehicle behind you, then multiple dots or car symbols for other bike computers will display, and only when all of those vehicles have passed you will it signal the all clear. And the Varia won't just track motorised vehicles, it will alert you to other cyclists approaching as well. But since I don't get passed by other cyclists, I cannot confirm this to be the case. I can't confirm this to be the case. Basically, it picks up anything behind you that is moving faster than you. So if I'm on the drive, fettling my bike ahead of a ride, it will warn me about the impending approach of my daughter on her new death trap roller skates. The speed of the thing approaching you is important as well. If the vehicle that's approaching is travelling at normal speed, whatever that is, then the lights or the display will flash up an orangey yellow colour. If on the other hand the alert flashes up red, then you are being pursued by a horde of marauding orcs, or alternatively, the car is just moving a little bit faster than you would like. According to the Garmin website, the Varia will pick up vehicles up to 140 metres behind you, provided it's got a clear line of sight. Now, I haven't got out my trundle wheel and measured this precisely, but I can confirm that it gives you more than enough warning to the approach of an impending car. Once the Varia sounds the alert and the vehicle appears on your display, you have plenty of time to check the road ahead, steady yourself, grit your teeth, and how you say, flip the bird to the drive. But again, you ask, Mont, why so evangelical? Answer, it's just brilliant. It works really well. It's accurate. In the last 3 or 4 months of riding, it's picked up and tracked every vehicle until it's passed me. Now, the roads where I ride are generally quite quiet. I can hear most cars when they approach. But in my pre-Varia days, maybe I'd be riding along in the zone, or it would be a noisy, windy day, and a car would suddenly appear at my shoulder, speeding along, and it would give me a jolt of shock. Certainly not ideal when it happens at the same time that you need to swerve out slightly to avoid a country road pothole. This literally doesn't happen anymore with the Varia. I'm never surprised by the sudden appearance of another vehicle behind me. Now, I was half joking about needing time to grit your teeth for a stressful pass, but there is something to be said for knowing that there's a car behind you without having to turn around and potentially swerve when you do so, and having sufficient time to move into a safe, riding position on the road. And the proof is in the pudding. The odd time that I've ridden with the Varia not installed, it's a bit extreme to say that I felt exposed, but I certainly have noticed myself on roads which I know to be busier with cars, turning around, looking over my shoulder more frequently than I do now with the Varia. I just feel happier knowing that the Varia has got my back. Or something. I've got this far in and I haven't mentioned that this particular variant of the Varia is the Varia RTL515, which comes with a rear light. Now you can buy a version of the Varia that doesn't have the rear light, but I can't think of a reason why you would do that. I need a rear light anyway, there's only so much space on my seat post, more on that in a moment, and the Varia rear light is as good as I need. In fact, it's an Ant Plus light, which means that you can control this light, turn it on, change which modes it's in, with a compatible bike computer that uses the Ant Plus light control protocol, which is basically the Edge range of bike computers. Now it's nice and all to be able to control the light from the comfort of your own bike computer, but this isn't a critical feature from me. It's hardly difficult simply to turn it on and change between the different modes using the single light that's on top of the Varia device. So even if you have a Wahoo or other non-Garmin bike computer that works with Ant Plus radar, it's still worth getting the Varia with the rear light, the RTL515. Now talking of which, I've kept you waiting long enough. What's it like using the Varia with non-Garmin bike computers? Well, smash the like button and I will tell you. Done it? Okay, we shall proceed. In short, the Varia works great with non-Varia devices. I've used it with my Wahoo ELEMNT BOLT, I've used it with my Bryton Rider 750, and I've used it with the Garmin Edge 530, and sometimes I've used it with all three simultaneously, and in all three cases it works absolutely perfectly. Can you say perfectly? It works absolutely fine. It works absolutely as intended. I found all three were easy to pair with the Varia, and when I'm out on a ride and the Varia switched on, they just automatically display the relevant information. They're all pretty consistent with how they show approaching vehicles on the screen. There's a bar down one side of the screen which shows a series of icons denoting each vehicle moving up the bar as it gets closer to you. The Rider 750 is similar to the Garmin Edge approach. They both use circles, dots, to denote each vehicle. Wahoo take things a bit more literally by showing a little car icon on the bar, and there's a way of uploading your own icons if such a thizzle would flizzle your bizzle. Brilliant. I can't believe how many takes it took to get. They also handle alerts in a similar fashion, whether audibly with beeps or when a car is approaching with the red and orange either flashing lights or flashing on the screen, and green when the car passes safely. Actually, for choice, and I'll admit this is marginal, I prefer the way that Wahoo and Bryton show these alerts over how Garmin approaches things with the Edge 530. The Edge has colour bars down both edges of the device that sort of blend into and over the data display. I must admit I prefer the way that Bryton with its coloured bands are much sort of cleaner and more defined. Now the ELEMNT BOLT obviously doesn't have a colour screen, instead using the LEDs at the top either flashing orange, red or green to serve the same purpose, and I really like that implementation. Now as an aside, and I don't have either the original Wahoo ELEMNT device and the Wahoo ELEMNT Roam, both have LEDs down the side of the screen in addition to the top, and those LEDs down the side can be set to display when the cars are approaching. Anyway, I'm wittering on. The Varia radar functionality works great with the Wahoo ELEMNT BOLT, the Rider 750, just as it does for the Edge 530. The only bit missing is that these two devices don't have Ant Plus light control, so cannot control the rear light from the handlebars. So you're sold on the value of buying a Garmin Varia, but are there any issues with it? Any questions from me? Well, there are a few, but none of them are deal breakers. Number one, I haven't worked out how to fit the Varia rear light alongside my saddlebag, or rather below it. I don't have the largest saddlebag, and I don't think I have the smallest seat post. My wife tells me it's perfectly normal. But I can't get both of them to fit on there, particularly when the Varia instructions tell you specifically not to install it too low down, such that its field of vision, its field of radar vision, is impeded by the rear wheel. So I'll have to work out another spare tube and multi-tool carrying solution, because I am not forsaking my Varia.
Quick update from the editing mission control. I have now solved my Varia plus saddlebag issue. I was able to attach a Garmin mount to a little flap at the back of my saddlebag, and that works quite well. Just to be clear, I wasn't having this issue on my hybrid bike where my seat post is more than long enough, thank you, but it was a slight issue on my road bike. So anyway, something to think about if you do have a saddlebag and you've got limited space in the rear region, but otherwise I think it's a problem that is not insurmountable. I think you're. Back to the video.
Number 2, battery life. Now, if you've seen other videos on this channel, you know that my battery testing protocol is more based on feels rather than accurate testing. The Varia, at least this one, feels quite heavy on battery. Garmin says it will last for 16 hours in daylight flashing mode, my favourite mode, but that's nothing to do with bike lights. In solid mode, it will last for 6 hours. All I can say is that it feels, that unscientific word again, as if I have to charge it quite frequently. 3 or 4 shortish rides go by and the message flashes up on the computer to say that the radar battery is low, which makes me think maybe I've just been riding along with the solid beam on all the time. Number 3, performance in the rain. I will admit I've not used the Garmin Varia a lot on rides in the driving rain. Now, despite riding with it frequently during winter, perhaps I've been lucky, or more likely weak. I've seen from other reviews, whilst it might be fine in light showers, sometimes it can struggle in the heavy rain. This isn't about waterproofness, it's rated IPX7, so you don't need to worry about getting it wet, but it's something to be aware of if you are a fan of aquatic riding. I have used it on very muddy roads though, and I can confirm that the Varia doesn't mind being spattered with good old English cow. So to sum up, and I'm not sure something as esoteric as a bike radar system can be classified as a cliche, but I've read this in multiple places and seen a number of YouTube videos. They all say broadly the same thing. Before owning a Varia radar, you wonder what all the fuss is about. Then you buy one and use it and wonder how you ever got along without it. Then you go around telling all your velo friends to buy one. Then you start a YouTube channel and start making love letter videos all about your passion for a bit of plastic, electronics and LEDs. I guess I should mention cost. The Garmin price is £170 in the UK, $200 in the US. Sometimes you see it on sale though. I picked this one up in the November Black Friday events, I think on Wiggle, for £130. In fact, such a good deal that I ended up buying my velo-loving brother-in-law the same device. I'll admit it's not exactly cheap, but in value terms, for me, I've been very, very happy with my purchase. Perhaps you can tell. If you're persuaded, if you want to buy a Varia, I'll leave links in the description below this video. More importantly, if you enjoyed this video, please do remember to lavish the like button, which means smash it, which means press the like button. I've been Monty, this is Sportive Cyclist, the mammal channel, and my Garmin Varia can detect you creeping up behind me. Safe cycling.